Good evening, and thank you for being here. My name is Jim Heitman. I'm the Chief Operating Officer of the Port Authority, and I'm serving this evening's hearing officer. With me to my right is Commissioner Leisha Eve, and to her right, Commissioner Kevin McCabe. They serve on the Board of Commissioners, the agency's governing body. We're holding this hearing for public comment because the Port Authority is considering changes in tolls and fares for the use of our vehicular tunnels and bridges and passenger rail facilities. We have prepared materials to assist in explaining the adjustments, including a written handout which can be found at the entrance to this hearing room. We will also shortly show a presentation describing the adjustments. If there's something in the presentation you'd like to hear again, it can be accessed at the Port Authority's website at panyj.gov/public hearings as well. We are interested in what you have to say today. Comments today will be limited to 3 minutes per person. The commissioners are here to listen, but there won't be a back and forth conversation today. We have a clock to keep track of things, so we know as 3 minutes elapse, and you will get a warning when you're getting close toward the end of your comment time. If you'd like to provide additional comments after this meeting, there are a number of ways for you to do that. First, you can go to our website, panyj.gov/public hearings, and make written comments there. You may also mail written comments addressed to Public Hearing Comments, Port Authority of New York and New Jersey, 4 World Trade Center, 23rd floor, New York, New York, 10007. And in addition, you may provide comments regarding these matters at the December 12th, 2024 Board of Commissioners meeting at 2 Montgomery Street, Jersey City, New Jersey, scheduled to begin at approximately 1 p.m. All public comments made in any form on the matters described above will be transcribed and also summarized by Port Authority staff and retained by the Port Authority for consideration by the full Board of Commissioners. Thank you again for participating today. The hearing will begin after this presentation.
The Port Authority of New York and New Jersey was created more than a century ago to oversee the movement of goods through New York Harbor. Today, it operates an unparalleled transportation system across air, land, rail, and sea that drives the region's growth and prosperity. That legacy continues. As we move into our second century, we're reimagining what's possible by making once-in-a-generation investments to transform critical infrastructure. Replacement of the aging Midtown bus terminal continues to move forward, with federal and local approvals advancing and early works construction contracts approved. We're implementing the EWR Vision Plan, which will reimagine Newark Liberty International Airport following the successful opening of its new, award-winning $2.7 billion Terminal A, winner of Skytrax's 2023 Best New Terminal in the World Award, among other accolades. We're replacing the outdated AirTrain Newark with a modern, reliable system and opening a publicly accessible entry point to the Newark Airport Rail Station, particularly beneficial for underserved Newark and Elizabeth neighborhoods. We deliver to the region a whole new, award-winning, world-class $8 billion LaGuardia Airport, named Forbes 2024 Best U.S. Airport and recipient of numerous prestigious accolades. We're completely rebuilding JFK with a $19 billion investment, $15 billion privately financed without public funds, a world-class gateway for a world-class region, opening 2026. We're enhancing PATH's reliability, capacity, and customer experience through the Comprehensive Path Forward Plan, a $430 million 2-year initiative to overhaul signals, tracks, and stations. We're rebuilding the entire roadway at Port Newark's main artery, reducing congestion and accidents. We're revitalizing and re-energizing the World Trade Center site in Lower Manhattan with the opening of the new Performing Arts Center, and a slew of events and activations across the campus have established it as a vibrant community destination. We're focusing on our commitment to achieve net zero greenhouse gas emissions by 2050 through initiatives to electrify the agency's vehicular fleet, prioritize decarbonization of legacy infrastructure, and aggressively implement greener technologies and practices. As the Port Authority executes on a historic capital plan, the agency is winning accolades from customers and critics alike, bringing critical transformations across the finish line and making tangible progress on major projects that have stagnated for decades. This once-in-a-generation overhaul of the region's infrastructure is strengthening the region's global competitiveness while creating tens of thousands of good-paying local jobs and improving the travel experience for hundreds of millions of people annually.
As the Port Authority executes on its historic capital plan, the agency is winning accolades from customers and critics alike, bringing critical facility transformations across the finish line and making tangible progress on major infrastructure projects that had stagnated for decades. Since the adoption of the agency's $37 billion 10-year capital plan, the Port Authority has achieved significant milestones, including the completion of a whole new LaGuardia Airport, recently named 2024 Best U.S. Airport by Forbes Travel Guide, the completion of Newark Liberty International Airport's new Terminal A, which opened in 2023 to global accolades, including Best New Airport Terminal in the World by Skytrax, a global aviation ratings firm, the raising of the Bayonne Bridge, the completion of a new Goethals Bridge, and the substantial fulfillment of the Port Authority's responsibilities for the redevelopment of the World Trade Center campus, which is being fully revitalized in partnership with other public and private sector partners. In 2025, we are investing $3.6 billion in capital spending to fund major projects, including JFK Airport's $19 billion transformation into a world-class gateway, the completion of the $2 billion Restoring the George program, and the $430 million Path Forward investment to upgrade critical infrastructure, including railcars, bridges, tracks, and switches to make the system more reliable and efficient. Additionally, it will fund preliminary planning and substantial work to launch the next set of priority projects, including the multi-phase replacement of the Midtown Bus Terminal while continuing existing operations, the total replacement of the outmoded AirTrain Newark, and the implementation of the EWR Vision Plan to completely reimagine Newark Liberty International Airport. Unlike similar agencies that operate and maintain critical infrastructure, the Port Authority does not receive any tax revenue from the states of New York or New Jersey. The Port Authority is a self-funded agency with revenue generated in part from third-party fees, rentals, and other charges to businesses operating at its facilities. The agency works aggressively to generate maximal revenues from non-toll and non-fare sources. While 65% of projected 2025 operating revenues will come from non-toll and non-fare sources, revenue changes from a package of toll and fare adjustments are proposed by the agency for implementation in 2025. The proposed adjustments are needed for two reasons. First, to address the $3 billion revenue loss caused by the COVID-19 pandemic and related inflationary pressures that have increased the cost of operations and cost of capital projects across the construction industry. And second, to continue to invest in the ambitious capital agenda for the agency's tunnel, bridge, terminal, and path facilities as laid out in the 2017 to 2026 capital plan. The following toll adjustment proposals cover the George Washington Bridge, Lincoln Tunnel, Holland Tunnel, Goethals Bridge, Outer Bridge Crossing, and Bayonne Bridge. Tolls at all Port Authority crossings are collected only from eastbound traffic. The Port Authority is proposing a 25-cent toll increase for autos, motorcycles, and trucks, effective January 5, 2025. The proposal also recommends that the board authorize 25-cent increases above the annual automatic inflation-based toll adjustments for autos, motorcycles, and trucks in each of the next 3 years. These adjustments preserve lower rates through Easy Pass and other discounts, including the Staten Island Bridges Plan. Another proposed change would eliminate an off-peak truck volume discount that affects approximately 0.4% of truck accounts. To give drivers time to plan, this change will not be effective until July 6, 2025. To incentivize enrollment in the Easy Pass program and encourage the proper use of transponders, The proposal includes 2 changes to existing toll rates, which will affect only 10 to 15% of drivers. Increased use of Easy Pass will significantly improve the efficiency of toll collection. The proposal increases the Easy Pass discount and delays the implementation date to July 6, 2025, to allow for an intense communications campaign to urge drivers to enroll in Easy Pass and use their transponders correctly to take advantage of the increased Easy Pass discount and significant Easy Pass savings. A new reduced fare program is proposed for path riders with qualifying disabilities. Passengers who qualify under this program would pay the same reduced fare rate as a senior citizen or $1.50 per ride, effective once the new TAP fare system is fully operational, which is estimated for summer 2025. The proposed changes are expected to generate approximately $150 million in additional annual revenue when fully implemented, to support investments in the interstate transportation network, which includes the PATH rail system as well as the region's bridges, tunnels, and terminals. Thank you for attending this public hearing. The Port Authority Board values your input. In addition to comments submitted here, the Port Authority will be accepting public comments on its website and via email through December 9, 2024. Comments can also be provided at the December 12th board meeting.
We will now begin the public hearing portion of this meeting. We will start with in-person speakers, followed by the virtual speakers. As of this moment, we don't have any in-person, so we'll start with the virtual. I'm going to read the name of the speaker and then the next person on deck so that they can get ready. So our first speaker for tonight is Johan Andrade, and next up will be Deborah McWilliams. Hi, Johan, we can hear you now.
Okay, thank you. One moment. Good evening, members of the Port Authority. My name is Johan Andrade, and I live in Hudson County. As a commuter who relies on bus lines through the Lincoln Tunnel and the PATH train during weekday evenings and weekends, I've witnessed firsthand the critical need for transportation improvements. The current infrastructure fails commuters and travelers, creating unnecessary delays and frustration. This is why I'm advocating for 3 crucial transit improvements in the 2025 budget. First, I want to address the PATH service frequency. Currently, our PATH system runs every 20 to 40 minutes during off-peak hours, a schedule that is completely out of step with our community's needs. Despite ridership having returned to pre-pandemic levels, passengers are experiencing dangerous overcrowding, unacceptable delays, and missed connections. The solution is straightforward. Implement 5-minute service during off-peak hours. We know this is possible because the PATH already runs every 2 minutes during rush hour. What works during peak times can and must work throughout the day. My second critical recommendation is implementing a 24/7 Lincoln Tunnel Express bus lane. Every weekend afternoon, buses crawl through the Lincoln Tunnel trapped in gridlock alongside single-occupant vehicles. The current infrastructure fails commuters and travelers, creating unnecessary delays and frustration. With congestion pricing coming in January, we need to give people in New Jersey frequent, reliable transit options. Express bus lanes will provide a dedicated, efficient corridor for public transportation that will dramatically reduce travel times and provide a real alternative to people driving. And third, I urge the Port Authority to extend the PATH directly to the Newark Airport. Currently, the PATH stops about 3 miles short of the EWR. That forces travelers and airport workers to navigate complex, time-consuming transfers. A direct connection will provide a fast, affordable one-seat ride that will reduce car dependency, cut our carbon emissions, and make our region more accessible to both travelers and airport employees. These are transformative changes that will modernize our transit system. They will benefit residents, workers, visitors, and our regional economy. Every dollar invested in making our transit more frequent, more connected, and more reliable is a dollar invested in our community's future. The 2025 budget is our opportunity to turn these critical improvements from vision to reality. I ask you to listen to the voice of those who use the system every day and prioritize these essential upgrades. Thank you.
Thank you, Johan. Sorry for mispronouncing your name. Next up is Deborah McWilliams, and on deck will be Maddie Bucky's Highland.
Good evening, everyone. I really wasn't prepared to speak today, so I'm gonna keep it brief and short. My name is Deborah McWilliams, and I also live in Hudson County, and I'm retired, so I don't ride the path that much, but I do agree with everything that Mr. Andrade said. However, I'd like to add a couple of things. I don't know if the Port Authority is responsible for Newark Penn Station, but if you are, I would hope that you are going to make some improvements in the station because the station looks like something out of the 1960s. You know, it looks like it's been left behind and it needs a lot of improvement. The second thing is I noticed that they have put garbage trash containers on the train level at the Journal Square station after having taken them off after 9/11. You need to put the trash cans not only on the platform where the trains run, but everywhere through the station, the concourse, the bus level, because the station is filthy. There's nowhere to throw anything, and people throw garbage everywhere. And it's just not acceptable. So please think about putting trash cans everywhere. My last complaint is when I applied for the PATH card, once I turned 65, the discount card, the form that you have seniors fill out, you also require them to get it notarized. And I haven't figured that out. Why? That shouldn't be necessary. New Jersey Transit does not require notification. And that presents an extra burden to senior citizens who perhaps can't get to a place that has a notary. So I would suggest that you rethink that application that senior citizens fill out, and please take out the requirement for notary, because notaries are expensive, and I found it to be really unnecessary. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Deborah. Next up is Maddie Bucky's Highland, and will be followed by Katie Brennan.
Thank you, Mr. Heitman, and good evening to Commissioners Eve and McCabe. My name is Matty Bucky's Highland. For tonight, I'm going to speak about the toll fare proposal that the Port Authority will be proposing. You guys are proposing a toll by mill rate up to $22.38. Now, let me remind you, the minimum wage is way below that. We could be disadvantaging those who live in poverty as a result of that. I'm reading something from when they proposed a fare increase from $8 to $15 in August of 2011. Voting yes was Commissioners Stanley Grayson, Sidney Holmes, Jeffrey Linford, Jeffrey Mordler, Raymond Pacino, David Sampson, Anthony Starter, William Pat Schuber, and David Steiner. Steiner in favor, none against. And that was ultimately approved by then New York Governor Andrew Cuomo, Democrat, and New Jersey Governor Chris Christie as a Republican under then of Christopher Ward and its Deputy Executive Director Bill Baroni. Well, I do applaud everything that the Port Authority is doing, especially to its own chairman, Mr. Kevin J. O'Toole, and its vice chairman, Mr. Jeffrey H. Linford, and its executive director, Mr. Richard Cotton. I think, I approve the accessibility rate. As someone who lives on Long Island, New York, who has autism, I go to this program out in West Babylon to hopefully get me a job for something. I do need to rely on the reduced fare to get from point A to point B. So with that being said, everybody, please happy holidays and God bless everyone. Thank you, Mr. Heitman.
Thank you, Maddie. Next up is Katie Brennan.
Hi all, I am in transit myself and am not able to turn on my camera at this time, so apologies. And I simply want to ask for one thing tonight, and I'm sure echo many of the other previous panelists, and that is specifically for some transparency from the Port Authority. I live in Jersey City and I'm adjacent to Hoboken, and where the path is going to be shut down for the month of February. And something that my neighbors call upon frequently is, what is the budget? What are the plans? What are the future plans? And where are the dollars going within the Port Authority? When can we expect certain improvements or changes? And of course, the age-old conversation of how do we get the Port Authority to talk to the other modes of transit that so many people in Jersey City and Hoboken specifically cross-rely on. So many people are using an NJ Transit bus to get to the path, to get to the NTA, and the level of burden that is created by those systems not talking to one another. So I think while I appreciate this meeting and some of the advance notice about the closures, greater communication about what is on the horizon and why there are fare hikes, why there are toll increases, all of those things, and how we can participate in those budgeting decisions. Thank you.
Thank you, Katie. That's all the speakers that we have right now. We're going to keep the line and the room open for until 7:30 in case someone arrives a little later. Thank you. At this time, there are no further speakers, so the meeting is adjourned. I want to thank everyone for your comments and your time tonight, and look forward to the future hearings over the next few days. Thank you.